if you just capture that part and then just cut it there, I don't know. Who cares?
But here I am. I'm here. Let's do this.
Now you just look special.
That now.
Yeah. On this week's episode, Jerry changes his name, Scott gets a new headset and goes on a rant, and I try to cut down the number of ums in my speaking. Positively Godless, now with 100% less beeping.
Crazy! Over, under, feeling crazy! It was no wonder, you're just making me crazy!
Hey guys, and welcome to Positively Godless. I am your host this week, Tyler Sulander, joined by Just Jerry and Scott Lawrence. Hey guys, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Well, good. That's a good episode. Let's wrap this up. And no,
Good way to start.
I'm just kidding.
I think that is maybe how some people might have felt about our first episode.
I know.
Not too sure, based on our average viewing length time from our YouTube page.
No, that's because I watched the beginning because I was so thrilled with the song that was in the show.
Why was that?
No one here wrote it.
Wow.
Anyway.
We need a
great way to
sound.
start.
Yeah.
If you guys have hung out for this long and you made it through the first episode and you're joining us for episode 2, I want to extend a big thank you to you guys for hanging out and giving us a chance to come at you and bring some positive views our way. Last week was not very planned out. It wasn't very scripted at all. It was very off the cuff, and it was definitely a first issue, our first episode, I guess. Sorry. And we just kind of covered a lot of, it was just a running thought train and getting introduced a little bit to everybody. And this week we're going to actually move into a full-fledged topic. Originally, I wanted to do tonight as kind of an extension of episode 1 and get to know everybody a little bit more and view their backgrounds and kind of see where people have come from. But after reading some of the comments that we got from the first portion, or from the first episode, we kind of decided to go with a full-fledged topic. We'll definitely have time to get a little bit more into all of our backgrounds and where we come from and what made us the way that we are and why we believe the things that we believe. But we're also here to talk about different issues that are going on, and we will get into that. The other goal that we have all kind of decided on together is to keep this a very PG, or maybe at most a PG-13 show. And while that doesn't seem very exciting in a lot of... Whoa.
Just kidding.
Wow. I'm going to have to use my first bleep now.
Are you going to put like a little pow symbol over his mouth?
You should. And I'm not really the swear of the bunch.
That is very true. I'm usually the one that will launch into a string of obscenities in front of...
Are you like the dad from the Christmas Story?
He's never seen that movie. He's never seen Jaws either.
I've never seen Star Wars. Sorry, internet. I've never seen Star Wars.
Wait. Which Star Wars?
Let's not get off topic. Tyler, keep going.
I'm very glad we got off topic.
We're doing auditions for a third co-host, so...
Yes,
so in any
Scott,
case, we want to keep this as PG as possible, Scott. As the whole goal here is to bring the topics that we're talking about in a positive light. And while it's very easy for us to get derailed, It is also very easy for us to slip into that negative undertone and to get into a downward spiral where we just start bashing whether it's religion or somebody's viewpoints or something like that. And our goal is to stay away from that as much as possible. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to have our opinions about how we feel about a particular topic. In fact, our topic tonight, I'm going to be asking these guys, exactly what their opinions are on this issue, and we'll maybe get some differing viewpoints. Maybe we'll all agree on it. But I haven't even told them what the topic's going to be. So we're going to find that out. So before we dive into the topic, what I would like to do is we'll kind of rewind just to last week a little bit here, and we just want to do a couple of shout-outs and go through some of the comments that we got from the first week of shooting. And Scott, I know that you've got some stuff that you want to go through, both good and bad. Mm-hmm. You want to go ahead with some of that?
Yeah. First off, I want to send a huge shout out. I did 2 podcasts this week aside from ours. I did the TV show for the Atheist Experience at the after show. Did some plugs from there. We got a bunch of people who subscribe to us and watch the video. So a huge thank you to one of my heroes, Matt Dillahunty, for allowing me to come on air to do that, and also Jen Peoples. Another one was another hero of mine named Seth Andrews, who's a part of the Thinking Atheist. I was on his show on Tuesday, and once again, we got another flood of people checking out our podcast, so a big thank you to Seth for that, and a special thank you to 2 people, our friend in the group, Nate Allen, who reached out to Tracy Harris from the Atheist Experience, which is out of Boston, told her about the podcast. And she shared it on the wall. I started talking. She's like, it's fantastic. It's great. And so a huge thank you to all those people. Let's start with, I want you to start with the comments first, though.
Sure. Well, yeah, one of them that you sent to me really kind of stood out, and some good feedback, but also a really good kind of explanation of why we spoke to her. Jill, we'll just go last name withheld for privacy reasons and whatnot, but I just watched your YouTube debut. First of all, you really need a female point of view. Just saying. Smiley face. I would also suggest scripting your productions. The video is informative in an objective manner, which I really like, but it's monotone. Again, thanks for the feedback, and we're trying to go that direction with topics. Unfortunately, I also caught myself desiring to count each time was said. That is totally going to be laid on me. I am notorious for that. Rather than what was being said. I have 3 children given the free reign of decision on religious choice. One Christian, one evolutionist, and one antagonist. All raised in an atheist home. It's been fun being a parent in this house. My middle daughter is the agnostic, which I'm sure is what she meant to say with the antagonist, and is an out non-believer going into her senior year. It's very difficult. She was raised by an alpha female wolf. I like what you guys have going. Greatest luck sent out to you.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Jill. So that is exactly what the whole purpose of this was from the get-go, was to have a voice out there that will start to talk about these different topics, but hopefully we can do it in a positive light and provide, I don't want to sound cheesy or anything like that, but I guess some hope or some inspiration, or that other like-minded people are out there, that it doesn't always have to be the extremists and the negativity that so often comes with either side, whether it's Christianity or being an atheist and calling people names and ripping people down. So I thought that really encompassed a lot of the really good things that we were going for in our first episode.
Cool.
I just want to say one thing. I like that Jill had stated that she lets her children have free reign. It just shows that there are people that are so open-minded to know that there are the different views in the world, and it's just going to, it shows that she cares about how her children are going to be productive members of society when they become adults, because they're going to be as open-minded as she is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm going to cover a comment as well. I'm going to cover a couple of them, but I want to start on a positive note. And this is from a Christian reviewing our podcast. Watched your podcast. Very tastefully done. I fully understand Tyler's question and the topics covered by just Jerry. So, I'm just kind of paraphrasing his comment, but that's from our friend Grady, who's a Christian, who watched our podcast and listened to it with an open mind. So thank you, Grady, for taking the time not only to watch our show, but take the time to give a quick review on what you thought of it. So, but
Thank you, Grady.
Thanks, Grady.
with positive come negatives, on our YouTube page we got 10 likes out of 10 likes versus 1 dislike. So, no, we're doing okay. I think I accidentally hit the dislike button after I watched it 132 times. This is from our friend Leslie. This is a little. I kind of highlighted some key points, so I kind of want to talk about this as a discussion a little before we get to the topic. It says, "I gather that you guys are searching for something that is the core to humanity. I believe the majority of people have lost touch with what it means to be a Christian. Our society values opinions over people. Our society focuses on what divides us and and not what unites us. And the outcome of that, especially when it comes to religion. The first and most important message of Christianity is unconditional love. Jesus reaches out to the outcasts of society and healed them. If Christians don't speak the love in their hearts, then they are only resounding gong or clanging cymbal." Yes, I'm referring to Corinthians 13. "The fallacy here lies in pretending any one of us has all the answers. We don't. It's frustrating, but that is the truth." So I'm just paraphrasing on her comment about it. So if we want to kind of dive in, and I'll get to kind of a funny comment after that.
Tyler, did you have anything to say?
You have to say something because it's going to be checkmate if you don't.
I mean, because I had a few things that I wanted to say.
Yeah,
No,
go.
Jared, please.
Go for it.
Scott, can you, because I don't have it in front of me, can you read to me again the part where she says about not what divides us, not what unites us, and
it says our society values opinions over people. Our society focuses on what divides us and not what unites us.
And what came directly after that?
And an outcome of that, especially when it comes to religion, is that there are many on the fringes of feeling like an outcast.
Okay. To me, growing up, my grandmother, God rest her soul, my grandmother took me to catechism classes, CCD. She made sure that I made my Holy Communion. She made sure that I made my confirmation. She took me to church when I stayed with her on the weekends. She went to church every Sunday. I never had these discussions with her because this was the way she felt. I didn't want to have these discussions with her because I loved my grandmother. She was like a second mother to me. What I feel is the things that divide me from a lot of society is religion. Religion is not what unites me to society, because what I've experienced is religion is what makes me the outcast because I'm gay. And that's why I always have had a hard time with any one particular religion. It's so while I respect Leslie's religion and I respect her opinion, I respect it totally. It's the unconditional love as being a human being that should unite us.
Mm-hmm.
Our faith is not what unites us.
I agree, because I
To
mean,
me.
she went on to kind of say, and it's easy to get angry, frustrated, and don't forget that there is a powerful, loving message from the Christian story. I disagree on that 100%. It goes back to the mafia boss scenario that I kind of stole from Matt Dillahunty, but it's true.
Well, and I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole because this really
Right.
could be a topic for a whole nother show in and of itself. What I guess my quick takeaway from it is a lot of things can be divisive if you go back to middle school or high school or you get into college or then you move into the workplace. There are always going to be cliques. There are going to be things that are religiously related. There are going to be things that are sports related. There are going to be things that are interest related. And there are going to be things that are religiously related. And I think it's a natural, it goes back to our tribalism and it goes back to finding people with common interests. And again, yeah, I think this is a really good topic just for a whole episode in and of itself. But I really do appreciate the comment on it. I'm totally gonna agree with you though, Jerry, is that also made me feel very separated when I finally realized that I was an atheist and I did not believe. It very much separated me from a lot of people that I grew up with that went to church, and we can get into that more later. But finding other people of a like mind and becoming better friends with them was what got me through those portions. So
Right.
All right, one more comment, and just a real quick one. So I put our page on another friend site who I'm following, and I got a response from this guy named Brad, and I talked to him already, so he knows this is coming. But his comment was, Scott Lawrence, a gay joke and an ambulance theme song in the first minute? LOL. Nope. So basically,
which was then sent out to the group. You sent that out to us.
Well,
I had to look up that word. I was
so did I.
What that word was.
So did I, but apparently it's a word on Urban Dictionary, by the way.
No, I didn't find it on Urban Dictionary, but I did
Most
find
reliable source, just like doing research on Wikipedia. Good job.
Right. And I just told him, I said, please watch the entire episode. He's like, I have no desire to watch the rest of the episode. I talked to him later today, and he's going to watch the second episode. I told him I'm going to bring this up in a comment. But, I told him also, I'm like, if you have suggestions to make our show better, please let us know.
How about a new headset? And no beeping.
Where's your
this
snappy
week.
comments, Scott?
No beeping this week.
Lord Vader, only you could be so bold. Sorry, Jerry, that's a quote from Star Wars.
Oh, fantastic!
I can see it.
You're
I
lucky
can see
we're
it.
PG.
All right. Got mail apparently.
Oh, yay!
You got mail.
Yay!
All right, guys, we are going to dive into our topic for this week. The link that I just sent to the two of you guys, we're also going to put up onto the YouTube page. So if anybody watching this wants to go and read the full article, you can absolutely go and read this. Our topic tonight is going to cover freedom of speech.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And this is probably going to be something that, maybe be something that cannot be contained just to this single episode. But, again, I wanted you guys to give kind of your immediate feedback to it. That's why I didn't send you the link ahead of time. But basically, if you want to follow along, I'm just going to kind of give anybody who doesn't have the article the backstory and read off kind of what's going on. So the headline, so this comes from downtrend.com, a ton of websites. If you Google this, a ton of websites picked it up, and they all, based on their bias, have a slightly different view on it. This one seems to be pretty neutral. I like this one a lot, but the title of the article is Atheist Group Demands Tiny Crosses on Memorial to Teacher Be Removed. It took them 10 years to find the tiny little crosses on the memorial to Joanne Christie, but darn it, they found them and they're coming down. An atheist group has ordered a memorial to a beloved teacher at Ravenswood Middle School in West Virginia to be removed because the engraved stone monument in her memory has some crosses on them. Christie, who was a teacher at the school for 26 years, died in a car accident in 2004. Her loved ones and the school community wanted her to be remembered, so they purchased the memorial near the school's entrance. There's so many kids that come through the school that were affected by her death, that were affected by her teachings, and now we're just trying to keep her memory alive, Tracy Sadecki, a family friend, said. But more than a decade later, the Wisconsin-based Freedom from Religion Foundation wants the memorial gone, claiming its presence on public grounds violates the First Amendment. The foundation criticized the display as a promotion of religion that infringes on student rights. WSAZ.com reported that the foundation wrote a letter to the school requesting an investigation to the memorial and the multiple Latin crosses near the school entrance. Christie's family, apparently in an attempt to resolve the situation, reportedly agreed to remove the crosses but left the angels in memory of Christie, who had a collection of angel figurines. A lawyer from the Wisconsin-based group told the station that as long as the angels represent Christie and is not a religion, there may not be a legal issue. Gee, thanks. End of article.
No.
Right there. So, I want to get into your guys' point of view, and if one of you feels highly inclined to go first, definitely go ahead.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Gosh darn it. I'm mad about that.
Why?
In what way? Which side are you falling on here?
I'm falling on the side of, if we want to keep the separation of church and state and keep church out of the state, why can't we keep the state out of the church? Like, so what? There's crosses. I mean, they've been there for 10 years. They didn't hurt anybody for 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so can't we just be the bigger people and just let them be there?
Thank you.
And it makes me so mad when we get mad at other people saying, oh, it's in the name of my religion or it's in the name of my culture that you can't do this and you can't say that. But now, for some reason, somebody has set the precedent that everybody has to have their right to say, it's in the name of what I believe. Well, that wasn't my cat.
It's mine. I don't know who we're having the contest with on YouTube or Facebook. I can't remember, but whoever is, you win the contest. So you're actually going to win my cat. I'm going to ship it to you.
Just remember to poke some holes in the box.
There has to be a point, I hate to say it, but there has to be a point where somebody must take the high road. And if everybody is taking the low road, nobody's taking the high road. Just let it be. Why do we have to attack people? We can't get our point across and say, I don't want to say this. We can't say we're better or because we're not better, but we can't make people understand our point of view if we're acting just like that.
All right, here's what. Because I'm going to have an opinion on this. It's people like this, the organizations like this, that make people like us look bad. The thing
that's what I'm trying to say, Scott. Sorry.
No, I've read this article and I was going to present it as a topic, and thank you, Todd, for bringing it up. And I'm going to talk to the people who actually put up this stink about the crosses and the angels. This woman, if you didn't know, was a Christian, a believer of faith. This is a memorial of her. Not about you, this is a memorial about her. So how dare you go ahead and I'm going to raise the stink just to get my name in the paper, to get your organization in the paper. This is the most selfish thing you can possibly do in the name of disbelief. Just because you want your name out there, there's bigger things to worry about. Let the woman be. She's dead. Let her memory carry on of who she was as a person, and don't destroy it because of who you think that she should be and what the district thinks they should be. Thank you. Sorry. The show's going to be like this, folks. I'm sorry.
I got you all fired up.
You did get me fired up because it pisses me. I'm sorry. It ticks me off. PG. Go ahead.
I just want to point out, like, last week's episode was more of, like Tyler stated, off the cuff. Here we are, kind of, this is what we're going to be talking about. Our first real episode, we're not going after, we're not criticizing any believers or any religion or any for something that they said or did. Our first real episode, we're attacking people like us.
Right. And this is the best episode ever. I mean, of two. But of two.
Well, yeah, 1 out of 2.
But I mean, yeah, it's such a good topic, and I remember reading this and just thinking, this is why we are labeled this way, because people want to get their names in the newspapers or make a big stink. They want to get press because someone died, someone suffered and died. Someone's family has to relive the mourning process because some people, PG, want to make a stink. I'm sorry.
There's
Yeah, I'm going to be the one that gets worked up in the show, just so you know.
I need an explanation from that group.
I would love an explanation, but their explanation is, oh, it's separation of church and state. It's freedom of speech. No, it's not. It's completely disrespectful. You're no different than Fred Phelps at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Maybe that was a little bit of a stretch, but you're no different than Fred Phelps.
Well,
and you're an atheist.
Going back to the article, well, no. It's you're fine. I mean, this is exactly the track that I wanted things to go on, and a part of the this is also a part of the reason why, like I said, I didn't want to share the article with you guys beforehand. I wanted to get these types of off the cuff immediate reactions because I think that and even though you've read it before, Scott, it just immediately brought back your feelings towards this topic, and that's really what I wanted to capture and have it be true and honest in the moment. And their argument, claiming that its presence on public grounds violates the First Amendment, and obviously the First Amendment covers a lot of things, but in this case, it's referring to the freedom of speech. And so that's why I wanted to bring this topic up. And honestly, I don't have anything to add in terms of the response to the article. You guys both summed it up exactly.
Well, no, I want to know your thoughts on it, actually, because I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think the listeners want to know your thoughts, because when you kind of back out, like, okay, where does he stand?
No, but my point is, I'm not backing out. My point is, I can't really offer anything additionally to what you guys already said. Okay. Because I'm exactly along the same train of thought. I looked at this and I went, this is coming from atheists?
Right.
I mean, this sounds, like something that, like the Westboro Baptist Church standing outside with signs saying God hates, what they do. So, but
I'll cover my ears. You can say it
from an earmuffs, Jerry.
Right.
Earmuffs. But that's what that's what came to me, is that why does it have to reach this length? But the other part, so what I wanted to segue into then with the freedom of speech portion is because I was hoping / figuring that we would all kind of be at this same point, because we are all very basic, like basically the middle ground. We're not extreme atheists, but we're outspoken enough that we're doing a podcast together and giving all of our opinions. So what I really wanted to dive into with that freedom of speech issue as well is, so we all come to basically the same conclusion without talking about this ahead of time. We're all basically on the same page, which is fantastic. It's nice to have differing opinions sometime, but in this case, this is where I wanted to stand up. What I wanted to segue into then is where, again, to no pun intended, kind of play devil's advocate, where would something have to go, in your guys' opinion, in order to cross that line? As far as like the freedom of speech and the promotion of religion in a public place like a school. And obviously we hear all these stories about people getting upset because there's a nativity scene out in front of the town hall, and because the 10 Commandments are sitting outside the courthouse, and we could get into those discussions as well because a lot of them are just completely ludicrous as well. But where, because again, I'm in total agreement with you guys on this issue. Number one, and doing some more backstory research on this topic, number one, that thing has been there for 10 plus years, like Scott said, and like was in the article. She died on her way home from church from a Bible study. She was a religious woman.
She was a believer.
Well, she was a believer, and
yeah.
she was religious enough to be going to church for Bible study. I mean, just an awful situation. And yes, it went outside the school because she was a teacher, but this memorial was funded by friends and family. This memorial was not funded by the school.
Yeah.
You know, this was not religious propaganda that was put up by the school, hanging over the door banner with crosses coming from it and, you know, saying, say your prayers every night or something like that. So, but my question is, for you guys, what would be that tipping point? I mean, Scott, you have a child that's in school. I have a child that is in elementary school right now.
I got a great example.
Sure, go ahead.
A few years ago, my former spouse called me just livid. And she's a non-believer like ourselves, and a great mother. There was a program that was, promoted by the school, that these dudes that were just huge, muscular. I mean, not like this, but almost as big as my muscles. No. Thank you. By the way, thank you.
I'm gonna have an asthma attack, and I don't have asthma.
No, so they would bend.
Has bigger muscles than you.
Well, they would bend these bars, and they'd lift this up. These like strong dudes, but their underlying tone in a public school assembly was Jesus. Without Jesus, so the school didn't know what their whole format was about, but it was about Jesus. They thought it was going to be a really cool assembly, people breaking stuff and hitting their heads with, it's called the power team.
The school had no idea?
That's what I was told by the principal, because damn well I was going to call darn well, excuse me, PG.
They didn't audition the show before they...
Right. And if you go on the power team, I think that's what it is. I think it's powerteam.com. I can't remember. I'll put the link up in Facebook and YouTube as well. Their webpage is very, very generic. It's like, hey, hire us for your school, hire for your church group, or whatever. And when they come in, then they talk the Bible. Without Jesus, I could do this. Without Jesus, I could do that. So when Jenny called me, that's my kid's mom, doesn't share my last name. Called me. She knew I'd be freaking livid about it. And I called the principal, and he was like, I'm so sorry. It will never happen again. But yeah, stuff like that pisses me off. But when it talks about a teacher who was employed by the school, who was a Christian, who believed, and then they have a display up in honor of her, that's a little extreme.
Okay, so if it was a teacher who was Jewish and he or she died, and if it was a Star of David in the memorial, that would be okay as well.
Yes.
Okay, just check. I
No,
mean,
no, I'm not mad. I'm
I have to ask the question because
Sure.
I know somebody else in a comment somewhere is probably going to ask the question.
or what if they were
You know,
Muslim? I'm not sure
right?
how Muslim.
I mean, obviously, I mean, that should be honored. I completely believe that should be
Okay.
honored.
But can I ask a really quick question though? What about the Satanic Memorial, which is in Oklahoma? Or I can't remember what state it's in, but somebody put a satanic statue up outside of a courthouse.
I didn't hear about that, but
You didn't hear about that? It's like a goat and the two children sitting on the lap. Have you seen this, Tyler? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know if I've actually seen any pictures of it. I've heard of.
Yeah, we'll put pictures up as well. But that was about a year ago. But
yeah, no. But again, to go back to that flip side, in the freedom from religion's defense, was, they're being attacked for trying to get the memorial removed. Obviously, mostly by Christian groups and people, obviously the family and friends that put up the memorial. But one of their responses back, again, in one of the follow-ups, I'm not exactly sure which article I read it in, but was along the lines of, well, how would you guys as Christians feel if this had been a Muslim and they had symbolic things, or if this had been a satanic, and you bringing it up, Scott, was what triggered it in my mind, because they brought up specifically, like, what if this was somebody who was a satanic worshiper of the devil, whatever. Like, would you be okay with pentagrams and pitchforks being on a monument at a public school? And so again, I agree with you guys on things, but I mean that's kind of also a question that
it's a good question. It's a very good question. But when you think of Satan, you think of pentagrams, you think of pitchforks and stuff like that. You think of evil and Halloween. So that's a little extreme example. But go ahead, Jerry. Jerry, go ahead.
I can't debate the whole, and I don't want to, the whole Wiccan religion. I mean, that's not an evil religion. In fact, Christianity is kind of built on
no
paganism. To my understanding, anyway.
Oh my gosh!
That might be another topic for another episode.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
But to me, I don't know that there is anything that can go too far for me, because I mean, all I think about, like, the only thing I can think about is the holiday time. Your religious holiday. Anybody's religious holiday. I mean, you have a religious holiday for any religion, almost any time of year. I mean, you have Christmas, you have Easter, you have Kwanzaa, you have Hanukkah, whatever it is, And when I see celebrations of that, it can't bother me. It shouldn't bother me. Because if it does, what kind of person am I that does bother me? The only thing that I've ever asked is, don't judge me because I don't believe in any one particular faith, because that doesn't make me a bad person. Get to know me for who I am and not for my faith or non-faith.
But you're lost.
But I have GPS.
Here you
I have Google Maps. But don't do that to me, Scott. I'm in the middle of a thought. You will get me lost.
Still like to be funny.
No, to answer your question, Tyler, there isn't anything that can really, really go too far for me. I mean, aside from,
bigotry.
Even still, the only thing that I ever found really a little bit too far is when I go to, like, the strip mall, and I come out from the store and there's religious material on my windshield, and I get a little bit mad about that. Not because there's religious material on my windshield, but somebody had the audacity to touch my car.
I don't know. When I see religious material, I just get to think like they're trying to say, "Hey, you throw this away."
So, Jerry, do you get as equally mad as just somebody advertising their car wash service?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
I
It
do.
doesn't matter
Anybody
what.
who
It
puts
doesn't matter what the
something on my
material is.
car, it
Yeah.
I
makes
agree.
it pees me off because don't touch my car. It's not your car. Don't touch it.
Right, I
Don't
agree.
touch my house. Don't touch my car. Don't touch my cell phone. Don't touch my computer. Don't touch my husband. Don't touch my cat. Don't
Welcome to
touch
Positively Godless, where we hate sleazy advertisers.
No, can I tell you a quick story? Me and my son were at a gas station, and he had to go to the bathroom, and I went inside to check on him. He came out, and he goes up to the clerk. He said, "Someone left this in the bathroom. It was a religious track."
Wait, what?
It was a religious track left in the bathroom.
A religious? Oh, like the.
And my kid says, "Somebody left this in the bathroom." They made me looking for it.
They'll leave it anywhere.
Oh, it was funny.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, but they do. You know what, though? I honestly think, having known some people, friends and family, who've been through the program,
What program?
the program,
I don't know what the program is.
AA.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I didn't want to say that, Scott.
What?
That's why I
What?
said the program,
I don't know what it was.
because they usually call it the program.
Oh, yeah.
Having known, I mean, and a large part of that is built on faith.
Right.
Because once you've been there, the only way you can really come back is you have to have something to believe in every day to get you back. You really do. And so somebody leaving that in a restroom, in a gas station, or at the, at a diner, at the table when they get up, or, wherever they leave it, for the next person to find it, you never know, it could really save a life. But just don't leave it on my car. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Tyler, what is your
You're the quiet one.
push you over the edge?
Yeah. What's your push you over the edge? I mean, how do you? Go ahead.
Well, I have, I guess, a specific push me over the edge when it comes to religion. Any religion it's not necessarily Christianity. It could be, any religion in general. In talking about, I wanted, I guess, this week to focus a little more on the freedom of speech, but I guess now just kind of
That's our show, though.
Well, right. I guess in just thinking about it off the cuff here, I guess they kind of go hand in hand. And for me, the biggest point is I have never had an issue with somebody having a different religion, somebody being gay or being straight, or having different viewpoints on how they raise their kids or how I, raise my kids. For me, my tipping point has always been once you start to push your belief, whatever that belief is, on me, that's my tipping point and where I have a problem. I don't care if you're Christian, if you're atheist, if you're Muslim, if you're Hindu, whatever the case might happen to be. When you start telling me that my beliefs are wrong, and whether that is face-to-face in person, whether that's somebody talking back to me on a TV, whether that's somebody writing an article online, doesn't matter what it is. If you're telling me that what I believe is not valid, that's the end of the line right there. I'm done with the conversation, because that's the whole point. And I want to have an entire episode just on belief. That's a whole topic in and of itself that I really want to dive into. But that's where things end for me, which
Well,
I just
can I ask you a follow-up question to that? So when you hear
by
the
all
term,
No.
you cannot ask Jerry any follow-ups.
I'm not asking Jerry anything. So, based on what you just said there, does it bother you when you are considered lost?
It doesn't,
Okay.
just from the standpoint that I don't consider myself lost. I mean, Scott, you've known me a long time. I'm a very lost individual, just about life in general. Just kind
We'll get
of
into that
floating
whole
around.
episode too, people.
Yeah, and just that'll be the therapy for Tyler episode. it's but as far as being lost in the religious perspective of, well, you're gonna go to hell because you're lost and things like that. I don't find myself particularly concerned over that, and that doesn't necessarily push me over the edge. It would be if somebody was stating that I'm lost and they hand out some, paraphernalia to try and get me to, they hand me a mini Bible or they hand me a pamphlet or, something like that.
Super Bowl pin?
A Super Bowl pin. And it doesn't bother me until it gets. I didn't hear any of that.
I said Super Bowl pin, and Jerry's face was like, "What the heck?"
Believe me, you don't want to know.
No, you don't want to know.
You really don't. I wish I had that. I don't know.
Is it
I
a real
have an
Super
extra.
Bowl, like one worth money?
No, hell no.
More than... No, it's not worth money.
No.
Not even close. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean that term bothers me, where you don't know me. We're in our one of our friends from Three Sides of the Coin, threesidesofthecoin.com.
Good plug.
I got to give them a plug because they were kind of the inspiration for this podcast. So Tommy Summers, Michael Branfield, and Mark Giacchini, thank you very much for inspiring us to do this.
That fits 3 times.
Wants us in future episodes talk about the gay agenda. He wants us to get clear on that, so we'll talk about that as well for Tommy. So that could be the next topic of identifying the gay agenda, because he's like, what is the gay agenda? And that offends me just as much as being accused that I am lost, or you're lost, or you're lost.
I don't feel lost.
No, I don't either, but I don't like the accusations like it's such a negative. Oh, I want to help the lost. What the hell are we lost from? Because we don't believe in the same crap that you do?
It can be, I think, interpreted as a negative connotation, and I understand where you're coming from on it. I guess for me, it's unless they're forcing something on it or on me because of it, it's really just an extension of what their beliefs are. If we just take Christianity as an example, it's the same as them believing that some guy built a giant boat and put 2 of every animal onto it and sailed the ocean for 40 days and 40 nights. But I mean,
Jerry's like freaking out.
No, but the thing is,
I watched that movie. I don't understand how he did that.
But the thing is,
I know I just offended a lot of people. I totally did. I'm so sorry.
And we're getting
Does
way
that
off
fall
topic.
under the First Amendment?
Does it fall under what? Finding 2 of every animal?
No, me saying that.
Oh,
When I watched that movie.
Yes, it does.
You have every right to say it because it's freedom of speech. But their view of me being lost is really no different from their view of, oh, this world is going to hell. We're in the end times, and we don't know the day or the hour, but the end times are coming. I mean, in that case, then those kind of comments should also be highly offensive, and maybe they are to you. But for me, it's just an extension of their beliefs, and they believe that the three of us are lost.
I don't find it
And-
offensive. I don't find it offensive. I find it
Okay.
humorous because
Well,
they're
but you
the
said
ones.
it bothered you,
What
though.
it bothers me. Here's why it bothers me: is that they're claiming that we're lost, but yet they can't answer a question.
Again, whole nother topic.
Yep, and
Whole
we'll talk
nother
about that.
time and place.
Question,
So-
just real quick question.
Yep.
Do you think Jesus is coming soon? Sorry, go ahead,
Jerry,
Jerry. What do you got? Talk to us.
do you think? Do you guys have any final thoughts about the topic? We didn't even actually get to
Yeah, we did.
some of the stuff. No, we didn't get to some of the stuff that I also wanted to talk
Go
about.
ahead.
So
No, we have
Well,
time.
don't
No,
go ahead.
well-
I mean,
No, please. We got
why do
time.
we have to limit ourselves?
Thank you,
I
Jerry.
don't think that we have to limit ourselves, but
Just touch
just-
on it quick.
figured we'd have.
Touch me.
No, I had to. I wasn't laughing at you, Scott. I was laughing at Tyler. How he just like totally dismisses it.
That's why I laughed too.
Funny.
I laughed. I laughed at both of you. I laugh at both.
Other than
Go-
we're trying to be PG.
Well, that was PG. I mean,
What?
He just said touch me. He didn't say touch me any type of inappropriate way.
I was stroking your beard when you came closer to me.
Anyway, Tyler, what other?
Go ahead.
No,
Let's
let's do final thoughts because I want to do this.
on.
No, this other part. I honestly
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I threw it in there.
No, come on.
Because honestly, I didn't.
Oh,
Okay, so this is our first real episode, guys. I didn't know if we were going to have enough to talk about during the episode, so I threw in some other stuff to have, I guess, as filler to fill out the show if we just kind of fell flat and we didn't really have anything. I love the way that this turned out. I thought that we had a very good discussion. Even though we are all very similar, there are still different points of view coming from the three of us, and we can extract various things and have a good conversation about it. So I'm very, very pleased. Hopefully, anybody who stuck around for episode 2 and made it this far, I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. But any closing thoughts, you guys, that you wanted on this subject? And obviously, freedom of speech and this whole topic will come back and we'll filter through
revisit.
plenty of our future episodes. But anything about what we talked about tonight? Any closing thoughts that you guys wanted to say here?
Jerry.
No, I don't. I don't really think so.
Scott, you got anything else?
Don't be a. Quit making us look like freaking idiots. Because that's what
You're
freaking
talking
doing.
to.
I'm still
Freedom
on this. I'm
Foundation.
still on
Okay.
that Freedom
That
from
organization.
Religion Foundation. Yeah. You know, you're making us look like fools. You're making us look like Fred Phelps in the Westboro Baptist Church. Have some decency and some respect. Not only for them, but for yourselves. Thank you.
Well, cheers to that, Scott.
Thank you.
I'll cheer my 0-calorie fruit water.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 2 of Positively Godless. Please feel free to give us any comments on your feedback, good or bad. We want to hear both. We want to improve. We want to get better with every episode. We want to get rid of all of the beeping and the background noise that we can.
Was there beeping?
No, I didn't hear it.
No, not this week. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I got the airline pilot thing going on.
Yeah.
So
We got rid of the beeping this week. Maybe next week we can get rid of the cats.
speaking.
Jeff Johnson, you happy now?
Perfect.
Let's last name somebody.
All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see
Bye.
you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Positively Godless. Look at the links below or in the screen or wherever they are. And talk to us. Bye.
Stupid.
What?
That was awful.
It's still recording.
Because I didn't
Stop.
realize it.
Stop. There's a sign on the door. He managed to take the sign out with no hands.
Was it a paper sign?
Yep.
It was a paper sign that was removed with my spewing vomit.
That's Tyler.
That's me, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
All right,
Bye-bye.
I'm like the girl in the relationship. I'm not hanging up.
All right.